time to join us. That is also a great honor for us. I thank you all. I am really blessed that you all are here, to share some of my experience, so that I can share some of my experience with you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Mm.
Sir,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can start speaking, sir. That's not like an interview. You
Okay.
can start
Yeah.
your journey, sir. How you started your MBBS journey, your
Yes.
then your
Yes.
post graduation, then your experiences in PGI, how your
Yes. Yes.
incidents shaped up your career, then how you started your center in Chitradurga, how well is your difficulties you faced initially, and all. We would like to hear from you, sir.
Yes. See, I was not a very bright student in my family. We are five children to my parents, and rather I was one of the dullest student in my family and a difficult student to start with. Let me honestly tell you, share my this thing, rather my crimes, I would say, as a student during my childhood. Till plus two, I never attended a class. Somehow I couldn't listen to a lecture, a class till then. I bunked most of the classes, and my parents really they were concerned, and they did take me to a doctor and consult so many people. What is the problem with him? And they gave something like vague condition describing like this boy has a ADHD, something like that. Attention deficit higher hyperactivity disorder kind of thing, because he cannot concentrate on one task at a time. He will always be, he will start doing something, suddenly loses his attention and gets into something else. Okay. But despite that, I had one important uh, this thing character within me, that is curiosity. That childlike curiosity, it started even when I was a small child. My parents tell me, we bring something from the shop or something, they wrap up in a newspaper or something, when we buy some shop, and when we come after coming back home, I used to take out that paper and I used to read from it. And that is the kind of curiosity I had beginning during childhood. And what I used to do after bunking the classes, we had a wonderful library in my city, that is Chitradurga. It's called Krishna Rajendra District Library, Government Library. It was a wonderful library. I used to go home. I used to start from home as if like I'm really going to the school. I used to take, neatly dressed, take my books, everything back. But instead of going to school, I used to go to that library. And the librarian, even whenever I go, some of the who are juniors then, who are retiring now, they say, I was the only person perhaps in Chitradurga who has read all the books in that library. That is the amount of curiosity we had. We had a lot of series of books. We had Encyclopedia Britannica there, nearly 28 or 30 volumes. They tell me I'm the only person who has read entire all volumes of Encyclopedia Britannica. They say some students do come here, they only see the pictures from the encyclopedia. You are the only person who read from page to page Encyclopedia Britannica. That is one thing. And also other thing was the Gandhiana. Gandhiana, it is about 50 books of about our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. So his books, entire his journey from starting to end is in a Gandhiana. Somebody has, I don't remember the author, somebody has meticulously collected all his communications, letter he wrote, letters he received, and what he did every day, day-to-day basis. And that was a life transformation kind of experience for me. The other book I read was the series of books was The History of World War by Winston Churchill. That is another book, series of books. I think 30 to 40 big, thick volumes of books were there. I used to read them with curiously page to page. And most of the authors, Kannada authors who are there, I read all the books. Okay. But I was never caught by any of my family members until I was in high school. My father used to be in the education department. He's a second division clerk, and all the teachers used to know me. So they never tried to inform him what they used to do because of fear of him. Because he goes as an inspector to inspect those colleges. Because of that fear, they used to give me attendance. They used to pass me. But I'll tell you, I never had difficulty in passing the exams because I used to be read so many books. And these books also, textbooks, I used to read regularly, but I used to manage to pass. For that matter, during my time, the seventh standard was a public exam. Like we have the 10th or plus two pre-university course exams used to be a public exam. I topped in my school in the seventh standard. So nobody had doubt. Okay. But what happened one day, my father came to my school as an inspector. Okay. So that day I was caught. That day teachers told us, told him that this boy never comes to school. They used to think that I have some sickness or something. That's why I'm bunking the school classes. So he said that day he came to know, but he didn't ask me anything. So what he did was, he next day he wanted to know, my father wanted to know what I'm doing, what bad habits I am into, where I'm going. So he wanted to find out that, and he sent my uncle behind me. My uncle, he came behind me like a, CBI or some jasus, and he found me in the library sitting there. And there, from that library, he held his my hand. He dragged like an animal to the home. I was all the while I was crying because I was caught. So that day I made my confession. I said, I can't listen to the classes. What do I do? I said, I can read at home. I can study. They try to convince me many ways. No, this going to classes is important, studying is important, all that. I said, I'll manage my studies. Okay. But what happened when I came to the university level, pre-university level in the plus one, there my father's influence did not extend, because that is that level my father had no capacity. So in the plus one, what happened there, they had a very strict attendance criteria. Very strict attendance criteria. When it came to the exam time, I did not have 75% attendance. And what they did was, the principal and Khan told me, you're simply not eligible for appearing for examination. I could not write the examination that year. What happened? I condemned to become a uh, what we call in America, in Texas region, they will go after your horse and bullocks. Cowboy, cowboy. I got a cowboy status. What is a cowboy status in India? Danakayano, they say. Danakayano means basically you are in villages going after the herds, like taking care of your this thing, animal stock. That's what I ended up being. So I thought, everybody thought my career is over. I am not going to study anymore. So I basically end up being, a agriculturist going after this herd. But despite that, I did not lose interest in my reading. That is what I kept my curiosity, this thing. And a day came, I realized my mistake, what I'm doing is wrong. That is, I'm born for something. I must achieve something. When I used to see the other students going to the school carrying the book, I realized that my mistake that day. That day I determined that I can't be like this. I must do something. Then I requested my parents that I want to go back to the school and this thing. So what they did, to be at safer side, they put me in another college where attendance was strict. This student can manage studies, you just give attendance. So that's how I shifted to another college, and there I started from plus one after losing 1 year, one glorious year. Okay, and that was time for transformation for me. Okay. There also, since attendance was not very strict, but I realized that I had to make a difference. I started really putting my efforts, a lot of efforts, and I could get into a this thing. I could get a merit seat. First, I joined engineering because that was a craze that time. So everybody joined engineering. I joined engineering. Then that time I got interview for medical. Then my mother told me, see, I wanted to be a doctor, but our family conditions were such that where women are not encouraged for higher studies. And the other thing is, we didn't have financial big background for medical studies, even though I was brilliant. At least you should do it. So I wanted to take my mother's dream forward. So that's how I decided to join medical. From Chitradurga, I joined JJM Medical College, Davangere. Believe me, for a person who used to have just 10 to 15% attendance, During up to plus two, I used to have 100% attendance in entire my 5 years of medical career. Uh, I used to go sit there, sit, force myself, sit there, try to listen to the teachers, even if I can't listen to your lecture. I found my ways of listening to those lecture, and I made use of that 5 year for building a solid, base for myself. We had really life transforming teachers there. Those are the great teachers. I give me a few minutes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir. I think it's an emotional journey. We are listening, sir.
So what I liked about my teachers at MBBS level is the passion with which they come. You know, for example, take Principal Gurupadappa. If he comes to the class, you will, without any this thing, entire class is in pin drop silence and listening to him. Despite having so much administrative responsibilities as a principal, as a professor and head of the medicine department, he used to commit for every class and he used to enthrall the students. And we have similar teachers uh, in other departments also. In the one pathology, Professor Dr. Chandrasekhar. More than that, all of them. Dr. A.M. Shivakumar, Professor of ENT, who's a professor and now he's retired from the medical college. You all know him. Many of may know him. Very active. Recently, he celebrated his birthday. Like this, of them. Shivakumar has a distinction because when I wanted to go to PGI for my entrance exam, I didn't have money. The moment I passed my MBBS, my father said, "See, son, I have 5 children. You still have four more children, sisters to study, married off, and all. Financially, I cannot support. From today, you are totally independent." The day I passed my MBBS, entire internship and PG said, "You are going to be independent yourself. How you are going to manage? I don't know. You're going to manage." So when I got wanted to go for this thing, PJ Chandigarh for examination. I didn't have money to buy tickets, nothing. It was Dr. Shivakumar who gave me 500 rupees. I went and asked him, "Sir, I need some money for the ticket." He gave me 500 rupees to buy the tickets. Those were strange times. That time, lot of things happening politically in India. So the first time when I went, uh, what happened? First time when I went, there the PJ had a strange system. First we had to appear for a theory examination there only. We had to travel all the way from here to Karnataka to Chandigarh and appear for the entrance examination. And after the theory paper, we had to appear for another clinical examination, followed by the we have to have an interview. Okay, going to PJ also. Why I wanted to PJ also as a big story. So when I joined first MBBS, I had a roommate called Dr. Sudesh Banaji. He, after passing MBBS, he went to PG Chandigarh and he became an anesthetist there. So during one of those days, he came to Davangere, where I was doing MBBS, to collect some certificates. And he took us out, some of the junior fellows, for dinner. And he described how the PGI is, how Chandigarh is. And he gave a description how much work they have, how they are learning, their academics, everything. And he showed a photo of PJ Chandigarh. He is standing in front of it. That day I begged him, "Sir, this is a beautiful picture, motivating picture. Can I get this picture?" So he gave me that picture from his purse. He took it out. He gave me that picture. Old kind of, I think it was black and white or this thing. I lost that picture subsequently when I was migrating one place to the other. And I used to keep that picture in front of my study table and see that every day that one day I will be in PJ Chandigarh. With that objective, I studied this thing. And after that, then when I went to PJ Chandigarh for the first time entrance exam, I topped. My ranking was within 50 in theory. Okay. So subsequently selected for this thing, clinical examination. I had put two subjects as my choice of interest. The first choice was general surgery. I did not know like what to go for. The second choice was anesthesia, totally opposite. Okay. So same day clinical examination is there. So I was waiting at the general surgery for them to cases to give. Since I was little later this thing. So by the time the anesthetist guys were searching where I am, so they came. They said, "Where are you? You are here. You also have anesthesia choice. Why don't you come that side? You finish while you wait here." So I went there. They gave me a case accused. Then who were appearing for who were taking the interview asked, "Where were you? We were searching for you." "Sir, I was at the general surgery side." "Oh, you were general surgery. Why general surgery?" I said, "That was my first choice, sir." "Then why if your first choice general surgery, why you come here?" So they hardly asked me any questions and kind of just a formality. They finished and sent me. When I went to general surgery side, all candidates had finished. They were waiting for me. "Where were you?" So I was anesthesia side. "Why did you go?" "That is my second choice, my other choice, Santa." "Okay, you have that also as a choice. So you are not totally focused on general surgery." I didn't say anything. I took the case. They asked me a few questions. Then when I went to subsequent level, I found that neither I am selected in general surgery, nor I am selected in anesthesia. That was a shock for me, despite getting good marks in theory. So what to do? I can't complain anybody. So I came back. But somebody in Chandigarh who are very powerful, who had same experience, they went to court and they got this system, that is clinical examination after theory. They got it abolished from subsequent year, that there was no clinical examination. I was a I was that previous batch. We were the last batch to face that system. Okay, I came back. I got into MS orthopedics in Karnataka Medical College in Hubli, KMC Hubli we call it. I joined orthopedics. But I told you, my father, the moment I passed MBBS, you're totally independent. There, the Karnataka government was not giving, it was the first of all, they were giving a paltry stipend, about 1,600. That also they're not giving regularly. It comes in once in 3 months, 6 months, like that, consulted. So, how do I sustain myself every month? That is one thing. And second thing, we were working in a very harsh environment in Karnataka Medical College. Uh, this thing, and really the entire environment was not conducive for learning for me. I don't want to blame anybody at this moment of life. This thing, even though there were harsh circumstances, people very harsh there, including in the department. Because they were harsh, I could make a decision. Rather, instead of blaming anybody, I would like to thank them at this level of life. This thing. So I decided this is not place for me. My number one dream is still PJ Chandigarh. I still had that photo. I should go there. But unfortunately, what happened in the December, I was supposed to appear for the exam. Advani ji declared Rath Yatra in entire India. If you remember in 1990, 192 during that this thing, 92 end. So when he started, the entire national nation went into curfew. All India Bandh happened. We did not receive any information about the examination. We have received the hall ticket, supposed to go, and the entire All India Bandh is there. So how do I go for the examination? You know what I did? Somehow I had to reach. So some trucks were traveling. So I changed from place to place, place to place, place to place. Some truck, somewhere bullock cart, somewhere some jeep, somewhere car, and one place in Madhya Pradesh, I was stranded and the police caught me. What are you doing? I told them admission ticket. Sir, I have to reach this place somehow. Otherwise, my entire life, this thing will go. And that police inspector was a kind man. And he drove about 30 kilometers to drop me to the other place so that I catch some transport from there. Somehow I reach Chandigarh. I reached the examination center in Chandigarh just 5 to 10 minutes before examination. And when I reached there, they told me examination is postponed because of the All India Bandh. That was another attention. What to do? And to because I was in transit, I did not receive any intimation, anything. While others somehow managed to this thing. I think there were another two, three candidates who landed up there time being. What to do? Then what happened? The one option was either go back to Hubli and again come back. So what to do? Then I met a very good friend there, one Karnataka, this thing, uh, uh, this thing student who was doing a cardiothoracic surgery there, MCH cardiothoracic surgery there, and he was going home. He handed over his key to me. He said, "This is my room. You use my room until you write the next examination. Next, when they reschedule the examination, and you tell my name in the this thing in the PGI canteen. You can have food. Study here. Sit and study here." I think about 15 days or 18 days it got postponed. And that really gave me a good time to sit and study, the revise all the subjects. Uh, this thing. Uh, that his name is Riaz. I still remember. I'm grateful to that fellow. Yeah. So he helped me. Chandigarh had students, a kind of culture. If somebody comes for entrance exams, same state, we let them stay with us, pay for the entrance, eat in our names. So that helped to give me a few minutes. Yeah. I pay for the entrance, and that time I I I got into ENT. That too, the rank came in such a way. By the time in the counseling, once based on your theory marks, they call you one by one, and we can choose seats there and this thing. I realized that by the time my comes, there are two choices. One is ENT, other one is OBG. Okay. So EOBG was not for me in the early this thing. So by the time and although the candidates who was there before my after my ranking, he came and begged me, "Are you taking OBG?" He asked. I didn't say anything. "Please, can I take OBG?" A boy from Kerala. I forgot George or something. He said, I didn't tell him anything. I put him in under curiosity. And by the time what happened, two, three people from ENT department came and they said they realized I'm one of the probable candidate time who may join. They encouraged me and motivated me. Looking at this rank, mostly you'll get ENT. ENT department is one of the best department and why you should join. And they were none other than Dr. Harindra, who is a famous ENT surgeon, okay, from Mysore. And also Dr. Suja, she was professor head of the department in KMC Mangalore. Like, and also another one, Dr. Surinder Singhal. There are two, three people, they came and motivated me. And by the time I'd spent up all the money, the moment we finished, we selected, I took ENT, I selected, we had to pay some 2,500 rupees fees immediately. I didn't have money. It is Arindra who paid for me. That time I also appeared for All India Institute of Medical Sciences, and I joined there. I got anesthesia, MD anesthesia, but I realized that the Delhi is not for me, because whenever we passed through Delhi that time, Delhi used to have such like it's not changed. Even that time, 30 years back also Delhi was same. Too much of pollution, and when I'm transiting through the Delhi, every time I land up in Delhi, I used to get severe bronchial asthma. I said, this Delhi is not for me. That day itself, I decided maybe All India Institute of Medical Science would have been better for me, but I have no regrets. Joining ENT. The system changed, transformed us further. Chandigarh has one of the best education system. Yeah, it's bit little too emotional for me. Some um, give me a few minutes. Let me refocus. Okay. See, the Chandigarh, we were so busy. Some of the days I worked up to 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day. That was the system we had there. So when we joined in the first year, we have something called house job. See, Chandigarh, as you are aware, we don't have interns there. We don't have undergraduates there. So we, the PGs, we have to do everything, starting from drawing blood, sending investigations, collecting investigations, preparing the patients, everything. So for the house job, what they do is they put a system like this. Okay, one person in his ward duty, the other person goes is in OT. Okay, and we change alternate every day. The person who is in the ward, he has to come early morning based on his capacity and experience. Okay, come at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I have entered ward sometime at 3 o'clock also morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Because you have to work up all the patients, you have to go through each and everything. What is the detail? What is the patient detail? Patient, what is the current status? What surgery has undergone? Everything. And 8 o'clock, when the staff enters, see, exact at 8, HOD or other, whoever is taking the interview, the morning rounds, the sharp 8 o'clock they enter. You can actually tune your watch based on their entry if a watch is not working properly. That was the culture they had. Even I'm telling you, the interview also, when when the admission was there, the interview was at 9 o'clock. 8 till 8:50. We, other than students, nobody in the hall. We were surprised, like, it's already 8:50. Another 5-10 minutes are there. Other is there the selection interview is going to be there or not? Take it from me, 9 o'clock sharp. The entire administrative team, including the director, starting from the director and other academic team who makes the admission, sharp 9 o'clock they entered the lecture hall one, we call it. That's where that used to happen. The selection process used to enter. And same similar way, 8 o'clock sharp, head of the department, Professor Mansab or Dr. Suresh Sharma, who happens to be in the unit 2, head of the unit 2. We didn't have a strict unit system there, but for administrative purposes, for the purpose of taking care of the patients, we had 2 units. So the other was Professor Suresh Sharma, who happens to be the chairman of NMC today. So the candidate, the house job student who's resident, a PG who is in ward, he starts presenting at 8 o'clock. Sir, bed number one patient Atmaram, so and such a age, which comes with such and such a complaint, and on examination he has finding these findings, his investigations are this, and he's waiting for this surgery, this treatment, this thing. Then they'll start asking, did you examine this patient? Yes, sir. What are his ear findings? Then the senior residents are also in charge of specific beds. They will look at, Suja, have you seen this patient? Yes. Do you confirm Prahlad's findings? Yes, I confirm. So what do you want to do, Prahlad, next? So they will ask the treatment. If I don't answer, that will go to next seniors. Like this, like hierarchy system, it follows questioning up to senior residents. There, the system is like this. The senior resident supposed to know everything. He also has to examine the patient, know everything about the patient, and also he should know all theoretical, practical issues behind that. If junior resident doesn't answer, it is a senior resident job to answer it. They should come out with what's the solution. And if you have made a mistake, I missed a finding, or I've missed, to do a test or something, is a senior resident, they will look at, the HOD will look at their face. क्या भाई कुछ हुआ नहीं इसका क्या कर रहे हो kind of thing. Like we go from one bed to one other bed, other bed, other bed, like this. It will go on till almost 9:30, the morning rounds. By the time we complete 9:30, and 9:30, at the 9:30, then we immediately rush to the there is one fifth floor. Our ward was in fifth floor in PGI. At the 9:30, you go to the upper cafe, that is in the fifth floor cafe, grab some breakfast quickly. You don't have much time because morning they would have given a series of big list of instructions. इसका ये टेस्ट कराओ, उसका वो इन्वेस्टिगेशन कराओ, इसका ये कंसल्टेशन कराओ, इसका ये फॉलो अप करो, इसका ये रिपोर्ट कलेक्ट करो. By the time you do all the work, and also they will tell the discharges, ये सारे लोगों को इनको bed number say so you discharge this patient. You have to prepare the discharge, give them the discharge, take the bed, empty bed list. All the morning work you have finished. By 1 o'clock, you go down to OPD. And at 1 o'clock, there, the consultant or senior resident, they will give the new admissions, all the list of new admission. So you give those patients, you give them instructions. By 1:30, 1:45, खाना खा के जल्दी आ जाओ वार्ड में ऊपर 5th floor वार्ड में. So give them all that instructions. Run to doctor's canteen, which is outside the main building. You quickly have your lunch, come back running. All these admitted patients will be waiting. If you're not written all the discharges, those patients will also be waiting. Okay, to go home. So you finish this thing and start to examine all these admitted patients. Okay, give them investigations, draw the blood, and whatever this thing is there. Do all that workup, and 4 to 4:30, the evening team enters for rounds. This evening team, which was in OT the whole day, they come for evening rounds. See, even though there was a system like units, all units, both the units had to do rounds of both all the patients. The morning rounds is done by the team which goes to outpatient. The evening rounds is done by the team which comes from OT. That had an advantage because they also see their post-op cases. That was an interesting system we had there. I really loved it. Okay, and the evening rounds is known as the teaching rounds. That is the time that's mainly taken by senior residents. Both the senior and residents have to be there for the evening rounds. Again, we go from one bed to one. We have to again present what happened with each patient. Okay, that entire day, and whatever the new patients admitted and what happened to the post-op cases, again question, all the questions get repeated. Extensive discussion goes on in the evening. See, when I joined PJ first day, I asked one of the senior resident this thing, how do we study, what is the system, what books to follow, and he gave me 2 3 tips. I still remember is Dr. Edward Norona Bosco, who happens to be in US now. अभी बेस्ट बुक लिखा नहीं भाई, सब बुक पढ़ ले. That is the one thing he said. चलो फिर आपको कोई बुक पढ़ने के लिए टाइम नहीं मिलता यहाँ पे. Keep your ears and eyes open. Be attentive. You will learn everything he said. That's exactly what happened. I am entering the hospital maybe morning 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Okay, I am coming back from the ward at 11, 11:30 sometimes. Where do I get time? If I get time, to sleep for a few hours, that's the greatest this thing. That was a kind of busy this thing. In the first 3 months, they allotted me a room. The system is like that. When they allot the room, we have to put our own fan, our own cooler, our own tube light. The one who goes, he will sell and go to somebody else. Okay. I did not have a light in my room for 3 months. No light, no fan. Since still we were in a winter season, I joined in January. So fan and cooler were not necessary. At least light was there. Light was supposed to be there. So what I used to take early morning, no, I used to keep door open little bit so that corridor light comes in the room, and I used to dress whatever, take this thing like this. I did for 3 months. And what happens when you work as a house job, each and every patient become very close to you who stay for long, like laryngectomy patients, head and neck cancer surgery patients, all those people, they become very close to you. And because they like your seva. And one of the patients attendant asked me, सर आप इतना काम करते हो, आपके लिए मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ वेल डिस्चार्जिंग. मैं बोला आप क्या काम करते हो, इसे मैं इलेक्ट्रिशियन सर. यार मेरे लिए मेरे कमरे में एक लाइट ट्यूब लाइट डाल के दे दे, ये पैसे ले ले तो ट्यूब लाइट डाल के दे दे. एंड दैट पेशेंट अटेंडेंट ही गॉट द ट्यूब लाइट फॉर माय रूम. That is how the this thing funny part of it. Okay, so evening rounds gets over sometimes if you are lucky at 6 o'clock. Some days the evening rounds, the senior residents start fighting with each other. They start quoting different books, start quoting different journals and this thing. And they were like encyclopedias, walking encyclopedias. And sometimes some of the days they have finished at 7:45, 8 o'clock evening rounds. If some interesting case is there, something is happening. And that is the kind of system we had. And the moment finishes evening rounds, the other resident, your junior resident, the house job who is in OT whole day. So to him, I have to give over charge whole thing. What happened day, I have to give him over what all work has been done, what is pending, everything. You are not supposed to keep any work pending and give him over. You have to complete that also. By the time it is 9 o'clock, you run fast to this thing to the cafeteria. You have your dinner and come back. If any unfinished work is there, you finish and go. You can't leave that work pending and go because he will get scoldings. He will start fighting with me. क्या ये काम नहीं किया, वो कर रहा है, वो इसका इसी नहीं हुआ, इसके इसी नहीं हुआ, तो मेरे को बताया नहीं ये कही. So like this. So by the time you finish work and go, it's 11:30. Okay. And next day morning, again you get up early morning. You're going to next day you're going to OT. Okay. So come early morning, maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock, collect all the dressings, everything. All the patients who have gone on laryngectomy or tracheostomy has been done, and some patients whose dressing is very dirty, you change that all that till 8 o'clock until you go to OT. Okay, and also you check whoever is going to OT, all the saman is ready. That is, all the disposable material is ready. They have bought it, it is there, everything. And also you have arranged blood and any special requirement you have arranged. Okay, because the OT should run smooth. There's everything should be there. If you are not arranged blood, you are in big trouble. Twice I donated my own blood for the patient because I forgot to arrange the blood. It happened on laryngectomy patient. I still remember there's that senior resident Bandari who helped me a lot. Said laryngectomy case started after 1 hour. इसका इसका blood लेके आओ यार, कौन लेके आओ, कहाँ है? I remember कहाँ है कौन? सर मैं अरेंज नहीं किया सर. I don't know how you arrange. You're going to get blood. I'll give you 30 minutes time. Bleedy patient is bleeding a lot. But I went ran to blood that this thing uh, blood bank, and there they had a very strict system. You give replacement and take the blood. Unless you give replacement, you can't buy blood there. Unless you give replacement, you can't get blood there. Then I went to patient attendance. यार इनका कौन अरेंज करना है? I said, नहीं जी आपने पहले बताया नहीं हमको. You didn't tell us beforehand. No, we are not ready to give blood now. ये बीमार है, he can't give, he has diabetes है, उसको ये नहीं करता. What to do? Again I went back running to blood bank. I said, so blood bank said, simple, ये तो होता ही रहता है, आप दे के लेके जाओ बस. So I donated my blood there and took the required blood, this thing there. It happened twice. Immediately after donating blood, ran to OT also at a small cafe, go and have some bread, pakoda or something, again run to OT because you have to see everything is going smoothly. This thing. And lot of interesting things happen. In PGI, all the staff, senior residents, they appear like worst enemies to you inside the building. They are your worst enemies. But the moment you come outside, they are your greatest friends, greatest teachers, greatest seniors, and greatest human beings. There are two, three incidents happened. I almost left VGI. The work pressure is such that one is one VIP patient admitted, after some time you stop doing the systemic examination, isn't it? So this what happens. We write everything. RS, respiratory system normal, cardiac system normal. Yes, one has heard this thing, no murmurs. This thing I would. And on table, if any such thing is there, we are supposed to inform, get the cardiac consultation or respiratory consultation or something like that. On the table, the anesthetist found that patient, this child, VIP child, has a VSD. इसका कार्डियक कंसल्टेशन कराया नहीं, क्यों नहीं कराया? सर मेरे को पता नहीं था VSD। उसको अस्कल्टेट किया क्या तुम? नहीं सर, नहीं किया। क्यों नहीं किया? मैं भूल गया सर। फिर क्या इस कैसे लिखा तुमने यहाँ पे? Yes, one is to heard. I didn't have answer. The post case got postponed. And the consultant, the chief, he didn't say anything in the OT. He just looked at the senior resident. He didn't look at me. He just stared at the senior resident because senior resident, if I do mistake, see, it is responsibility of the senior resident to ensure everything is ordered. So senior resident was Dr. Ananda Pratap Basu. I still remember. He's in Siliguri now. He just looked at me. Then after coming back from OT, I was writing some case sheet. He came with, he works very quickly. He came with a white paper. He said, sign kar isme. I signed. I didn't know what is he asking for. We are so scared of him. तू पीजे में पीजी करने के लिए नालायक है. इसमें बाकी मैं रिजिग्नेशन लेटर लिख लेता हूं, तुम चले जा आज. You just quit and go. What to do? I didn't know what to do after that. So I finished my work. I told my Raman, my other PG, co-PG, my friend, a great friend, अरे यार रमन क्या करूं मैं यार, ऐसे बोल के चले गए. And he also doesn't have answer what to do. He said, just जाके कम से कम रिक्वेस्ट कर ले. So I went to his room, his old hostel. We had to walk all the way, almost a kilometer. I went and knocked. He had already slept by the time, They also work very hard. ओ प्रहलाद क्या कर रहे तू यहाँ पे? सर आपने वो रेजिग्नेशन लेटर लिखवाया, क्या करूं? अरे यार भूल जा चल. आई वॉन्टेड यू टू टीच अ लेसन टू यू, दैट्स व्हाई आई टुक इट. मैं वहीं पे मैं भूल गया, उसको फाड़ के भेज दिया. चल चल काम कर ले. That is the kind of culture they had. And also in another instance also, it happened. I think I made another grave mistake there in patient care or something. And another senior agent came. He took me to the window. Boल, jump. तो नालायक है यहाँ पे रहने के लिए, तो पहले जंप. कोई रोएगा भी नहीं तेरे लिए. That is the kind of this thing we had. Okay, so you arrange everything in OT, and evening, once the case finishes, you come back to ward with the team, attend the evening rounds. After that, you take the charge, and you are going for the morning. This thing, you're in ward next day. So this is how we used to alternate and finish all the work, and uh, all the how to do a patient examination, workup, everything you learn during that 6 months, 1 year, luckily, because PJ admits residents twice a year. Okay, depending on that, uh, either you do this house job for 6 months or 1 year. For our bad luck, the subsequent batch nobody joined ENT because they know this work culture, how busy we are. Nobody joined ENT, so we had to continue for another 6 months as house job. I'll tell you, that really gave me a lot of opportunity for me to learn the patient physical examination. Nowadays, everybody forgets physical examination. Everybody is dependent uh, on investigations. I'm telling you, the PGI, they stressed on physical examination so much. I really became a master in physical examination there. That's what I emphasize. Even my students also now. That is, you should learn the physical examination properly. Okay. So after first year, we come to the second year. That is when you go down to OPD. You're also in one of the teams, the one of the uh, this thing, and based on that routine, you go to, and also you're in charge of beds, few beds, 5 or 6 beds. So the ward, even though the house job resident is there, it is also your collective responsibility to ensure that patient care is happening. Because if the house job, that junior resident, if he has done a mistake, ignored something, it is your responsibility to ensure that that particular test, investigation, workup, dressing has been done. If not, you will get. And they were the dressings concerned, they were very much particular. If they are dirty or something, they get infuriated with the senior staff, the consultants. They used to ask, "तो ऐसे कपड़ा पहन लेगा क्या? You want this dressing, your dressing to be like this?" They used to fire us this thing. Okay, that's the system we had there. This thing. So next, this thing is this thing. But what happened there? The PJ, we have a pyramidal system. Like you may have four residents in the this thing. But when you come to the senior resident, one or two positions may be there. Okay, and I realized that I may not get a senior residency. This thing. So when I was in final year itself, I started planning what should I do after completing this. Then I said, it was dream for like in PJ, most of them they end up either in being UK or US. Okay, so I started preparing for my USMLE from final year itself, thinking that I may not get senior residency. I'll have to go to US. I think I got little defocused that time. I got nice banging also. They Most of them came to know that I'm also preparing for USMLE this thing, and also appeared for the UPSC examination for IAS that time, because that was also somewhere like the IAS that attracted me. I told you I had kind of ADHD since beginning, so the multiple interests, either say residency also, IAS also, then USMLE also. I know, for my surprise, my luck, I passed the IAS prelims. But unfortunately, the interview, the finals, and the MS examination, they were during the same time. Almost, maybe a 1 week difference. So I went to HOD. Sir, मैं एग्जाम लेट दे सकता हूँ क्या नेक्स्ट सेशन में? Sir, what do I do? Give me advice. I passed your IAS prelims. He fired me right and left, Dr. मान साहब. क्या तुम इसका चेला बनेगा क्या पॉलिटिशियंस का? अपियर फॉर फाइनल एग्जाम्स, पहले डिग्री ले लो, बाद में आईएएस तो बाद में भी कर लेता है. फर्स्ट यू टेक द डिग्री. आई थिंक दैट इज वन ऑफ द वाइज एडवाइस आई हैव रिसीव्ड दिस थिंग. I don't regret not appearing for IS finals. This thing maybe because of that time knowledge. I think even I would have cleared the IS finals, I believe. This thing. So what happened? Surprisingly, even though I had divided interest, when it came to the final exams, I did very well in exams. Like of all of us, this thing, my examination luckily went very well, and all the staff were very happy with me that the way I replied. And who were the examiners from AIMS? Dr. R.C. Deka, AIMS HOD, and also Dr. Mishra from KG Medical College, King George Medical College. One of the top people that time, Dr. Mishra and this thing. They are tough examiners, and they were very happy with me. And HOD was very much pleased with me because of that. And after that, immediately I wanted to leave after MS, and he said, "तुम रुक जाओ, 6 महीने रुक जाओ यहाँ पे. Uh, you will get the senior residency." This thing. That's how I got into senior residency. There, see, uh, one more thing happened there. I think of all our batchmates, like I got more hands-on experience in this thing. I did one trick there. I realized that in PJ, if you have to get more hands-on experience, you have to do emergency duty. When you're in emergency duty, you will get a little free hand to do whatever you want to do. So what I used to do is exchange all holiday Sunday duties with others. I used to do their duties. If they ask me, See, my other batchmate was Sajida. She was married. Her husband, she's from Vizag, a great friend. She was married and had a husband. And weekends, she would like to be with the husband and with the family. So she used to exchange the duties with me. And Raman, he was from Jammu. Dharmender, who's in UK now, he's also from Panipat. So weekends, they would like to go home. So if they ask me to exchange, I used to exchange, but I never used to ask them back. या मैंने तुम्हारा ड्यूटी किया तुम मेरे को चेंज करके दे तुम मेरा ड्यूटी कर ले आई नेवर आस्क्ड इट बैक आई यूज्ड टू डू ऑल दोस वीकेंड ड्यूटीज नाइट ड्यूटीज एंड emergency duties. So because of that, I got more hands-on experience. And also I had a great friends, Dr. Murli, who's anesthetist, is in Hyderabad now. Murli from PGI. He was also president of Indian Association of Anesthesiologists. I don't know where he works. He is my contemporary. He was doing anesthesia PG. So whenever I'm there, somehow we used to coincide like our both duties. So whenever I fix a case, emergency case, he used to be there, ensure I do that case, learn that this thing. Uh, and he used to help me a lot. I remember him. I'm really grateful to him. And also, even though the many junior staff are there, even the senior staff, Dr. Madam Chari was there. I don't remember madam's name. She was the anesthesia HOD. If a junior resident is operating, she used to encourage, "Chalo beta kar le. You take your time." Because she also used to be posted in OT herself, get posted in OT. And if junior is operating, she will not give the back to another junior staff and leave the OT. If junior resident is operating, she will stay there, encouraging him. That is the kind of culture. And we can't expect that nowadays. If junior most is operating, HOD will not be in the OT also. You would have reached home also. That is the culture we have here. But there she used to stay and encourage. I remember Madam Chari, what happened during final year something. Once there was a case of optic nerve trauma. We were supposed to do optic nerve, emergency optic nerve decompression. Dr. Gupta, I remember, he wanted to do it. And that day, somehow there was mass casualty, some accident or something. All the junior, senior residents were occupied. Nobody is free. And this case has to be operated on emergency basis. So I asked the associate professor was there, sir, क्या कर ले कोई नहीं मिल रहा है. Dr. Puri, I remember it. अच्छा मैडम को फोन कर सर अभी तो 11:30 है सर हाउ कैन आई कॉलर यार यहाँ पे ऐसे कुछ है ही नहीं मैडम वोंट माइंड इट यू जस्ट गिव कॉल एंड आई कॉल्ड मैडम केस है मैडम इमरजेंसी केस क्या केस है मैडम आप टेक नो डिकम्प्रेशन कितना बजे करने चाहते हो सर मैम आप परमिशन नहीं तो अभी आधे घंटे में शिफ्ट कर लेते हैं मैम हाँ ठीक है ये आप शिफ्ट कर लो आई विल बी देयर within 30 minutes she is there actually we got delayed in shifting the patient she didn't say anything until you I started the case the initial steps and this thing Gupta ji entered later but she didn't say anything this thing she was there till morning 3:30 a.m. and went we can't expect this I think in state medical college or elsewhere this kind of culture work ethics I think that was something great I saw there in the senior staff even the timings concerned see the staff they enter the hospital exactly at 8 o'clock sharp 8 o'clock or 5 to 10 minutes earlier and they will not leave at any cost until that evening time is there they are in the department available to us all the time you could easily approach anybody if you have a problem personal problem you have a doubt anything you could easily do it this thing that's the kind of work culture we had there this thing so by the time I had passed my USMLE, so I started applying to the institutions, various institutions in US. This thing. So there, it's very strict. This thing. Out of the 60 institutions, I applied for ENT. I applied for ENT residency. I thought if I go for any other branch in US, that will be a disgrace to my teachers. So I wanted only ENT, and I got only two interviews. Okay, I got only two interviews, and that time getting a US visa was very very difficult. Anybody who goes there, you have to be very lucky. This thing, no contacts, nothing helps. So what I did was I knew that this is going to happen. very tricky way. What I did, I started accumulating visa of other countries even I didn't visit. That is one I cleverly played game. And what happened when the US interviews came, I went 5 times from Delhi to Chandigarh. I went from Chandigarh to Delhi 5 times for the visa. They never rejected visa. Each time they asked me some document. Once property document they asked me, you go get this document. Next time, have you got permission from your institute to take the leave for interview? No, you go get this, get this, get this. Now I didn't know like what is happening. Some of my other colleagues in PGI, they were refused visa and stamped not eligible to apply for next 2 years. But they never stamped it to me. I don't know. That was surprising. But I also had lost hopes that I will get visa to US. Uh, this thing. The fifth time, what happened? Uh, this thing. I was on duty previous night. Morning Shatabdi is at 5 or 5:30 from Chandigarh to Delhi. Okay, you have to be before. You have to reach early and this thing. Reach the embassy. So there, the morning queue starts at embassy. Start from morning 4 or 5 o'clock. Such a long queue. So even for the placements, there is you can buy like a black ticket. You know, there somebody will dummy candidates will be in the line. You can go and give him some 200-300 rupees. Take that this thing, and also you can buy a DD there. Uh, Everything you can do there. So what happened? Early morning, I went to I in hurry I left for this thing. Sajida was there. I called Sajida. I'm going I'm going for the interview. So I left. She said, "You drop the pager and go." So I left the pager in a room. We had a paging system that time, pager room, and went for the interview. In hurry, I left again all the certificates on my table in the room. I went without them. But luckily, what they had asked for the important certificate that I had carried. The lady, big fatty lady was there. She asked me, why you are coming for the fifth time? What was asked for? She said, sir, this is the madam, this is the certificate. They asked me. So, bro, yeah, good, good. And she asked me, look at me, will you come back to India? Yes, ma'am. I'll come back, ma'am, after training. Okay. What if you happen to meet a beautiful girl who proposes to marry you? What you will do? An American girl, she said. And, I don't know where the sense of humor came into me. Madam, I have been searching for that girl for the last 27, 28 years. Give me her address, please, her phone number, something. I will call her. I said funnily. And she laughed at me. Oh, you're a funny man. And she said, then she asked me, where are you going in US? Madam, I'm going to Texas and this thing, Chicago, ma'am. Yeah, all the best. Have a safe journey, she said. That day I knew I'm going to get the visa. And I got the visa, visitor's visa, I think, B1, B2 visa. Interview, you get that visitor's visa only. Only after getting admission, you get this thing. And when I went to US, in one institution, uh, see, the US has another system also. One is you can directly enter ENT. The other one is you can join general surgery after 2 years, switch over to ENT. So I had applied also for general surgery residency also. Okay. And when I went to Chicago for interview, the Vijay Anand, I remember, Professor Vijay Anand, he was the program director. He's told me outrightly, you don't stand any chance in US as far as otorhinolaryngology concerned. Your scores are 85, 86. To get into otorhinolaryngology in US, you should have something like 99 or 100% percentile score. It is percentile, not percent. You won't get it. You have no chance. You go either for internal medicine. If you want to pursue a career in US, he said, I go to internal medicine, psychiatry, or radiology, something, which you can get easily, maybe, he said. So I didn't get into ENT there with both of this thing. But luckily, as a last position, I got into Texas Tech University, Lubbock in general surgery. In general surgery, I got into this thing, residency. Okay. And there, the system is pyramidal system. We were 12 people were there in the first year, PGY1, we call it. Okay. And in the PG Y2, there were only six positions. That means only six people can get promoted in the same institute. Okay. So what to do? So at the end of the 6 months, the program director called us, six of us. He gave us a beautiful recommendation letter. He said, "You go apply for the other institutions also to be safer side. Go apply to the other institutions also safer side, so that you continue your residency here in US." That means if you are given, the program director gives a recommendation letter, that means you are not continued in the same institute. That is obvious, quite obvious. Then I realized, uh, I'm not continuing the same institute, and chances of getting other institute was very bleak. What to do? So that is the time uh, I had to make a decision. What to do? Either staying in India or going back. Okay. That is the time I think one of those days my mother called me. She was crying, weeping. I called my mother from there. Said, we educated you hoping that you will come back and take care of our people, Indians, our relatives, us. But you're treating somebody else, a foreigner. This thing was that your objective? I grew up in during childhood in a Vivekananda movement. I'm a very strong disciple of Swami Vivekananda, and I was reading that day the way he passionately he has written about how we need to help Indians and bring them up. Uh, this thing. And that day I made decision. No, this US is not for me. I should go back home. Anyway, I was not getting into getting into didnt was also difficult, and going to either internal medicine or any other branch would have been a big disgrace to our teacher at PJ Chandigarh. I thought so. Being in US is not everything. So I thought that day I must go to this thing. Go back to India. So that day I returned to India, and we had a colleague, this thing, colleague there, who was from Kerala, and he told me, "So if you're going back, my relative's hospital is there. You are a very, uh, you have very good hands. You are a good surgeon. You're going to be a good ENT surgeon. You go back to our hospital in Kerala. They will provide you whatever you want." So that's where from there to uh, I landed up in Kerala. It's called Al Shifa Hospital, Pentalmanna. Great hospital, this thing. Okay. There, even though I couldn't get into ENT, I left US because of all these reasons. I came to Kerala as a foreign returned surgeon. That is how it was published. When I joined on the first day, all the newspaper in Kerala, you know, foreign US returned surgeon joining our hospital from PJ Chandigarh. That is the kind of advertisement of opening they gave me. But nobody knew my actual story. This thing is there, but that was for their marketing, this thing. And I really appreciate the management there. They believed in me. When I came back, they believed in me, and they bought all the equipment. They invested about 1.5 crore, and they bought the best of the equipment, everything, whatever we needed. That is the time we had endoscopic sinus surgery, started growing up, and microsurgery, micro ear surgery was growing up, everything. And they bought the best. We had a That time we had JICE as well as Leica microscope was there, and we had the STARS endoscope system. I also asked for a flexible scopy. They bought the STARS flexible laryngobronchoscopy. Everything, whatever I asked, just bought it. But after joining, I realized that my skills are not good enough. I had done some PJ, I had got some exposure, but that I didn't have that fine what finesse is required to do surgery. That I didn't have. What to do? So I realized that I must attend more workshops, hands-on training programs. Must read more. I must attend more conferences and this thing. They were paying me very well from the first job itself. I was earning something like, my first year salary was about 1.5 lakhs. 1.5 lakhs, in 1997 was a big money. My first salary was that. That is, they used to pay me 25,000 plus as my basic salary and a free accommodation, okay, two-bedroom house, and 50% of your surgery charges was they used to pay. So you get salary twice in a month. That is your basic salary 25,000 on 7th of the month, 7th, 8th of the month. You will get your cuts, your surgical charges on 21st of the month. So in the first month, I got so much. I earned rapidly a lot of money. There was hardly any competition for me there. I that kind of surgeries, that kind of work, I've not been able to do now. I used to operate average 100, 120 cases a month minimum. That kind of work I used to do that time because we were trying to do head and neck surgery, head and neck cancer surgery, otology, some little bit of endoscopic sinus surgery, and all that. This thing. And endoscopic sinus surgery concerned, I got a very good exposure in PJ. How means that is because of Dr. Meghnad, K.R. Meghnad. See, yeah, at PGI, Dr. Meghnad was my senior resident, and he was the only person who owned the endoscopy and endoscopy equipments. Okay, so we clandestinely we used to go to mortuary, mortuary, lot of cadavers there. Okay, and we could easily bribe the mortuary guard and give him, there the alcohol is cheaply available Chandigarh because Union Territory, and also the command hospital was adjacent that time. Okay, we PJ residents, if we have our ID card in somebody's name, we could buy the liquor for cheap there. So getting one or two bottle and give to this watchman. He used to let us do the endoscopic sensors. So I used to carry equipment, the light source, endoscopes, everything I used to carry for Meghnad. And there we did a lot of cadaver dissection, this thing. So that way I had very good exposure. So here we started all that kind of, in North Kerala that time, in our region, like, that was a pioneering work, this thing. And the first time I arranged a temporal bone dissection course also there. That was, they say, that was the first temporal bone dissection of Kerala, they said. Uh, so what I did was I attended every conference, every workshop that happened. It was permanent there. I told the management very clearly, I'm not available Friday, Saturday, Sunday if there is a conference. Saturday, Sunday at least I'm not there because I had to attend all this. I had to learn. I had to upgrade my skill. And I used to buy all the textbooks, original textbooks, however they may cost. Some of the textbook, they were like 30,000, 45,000. If any book, I collected a lot of monograms, single author books, and everything. Like if you see, I have, as a private person, I have one of the biggest libraries. And also PGI did a very clever job. What I did was most of the books I got it Xerox. You can do that in PGI. You can get it Xerox. You get the book out, you borrow book, and there are many people outside to get Xerox. And also after PGI, I was very close to the librarians. They were kind of friends because I used to be very friendly with all of them. I was also cultural secretary there for 2 years. So I was very close to a lot of people. And PGI librarian had booked a PGI librarian. Any new book comes ENT, he immediately used to Xerox and send it. And also he has used to Xerox and send 6 journals every month. OCNA, I have all the OCNA still recently. I have laryngoscope copies recently. Okay, like this, I used to get all the journals and books. I really worked hard. That I stayed in Kerala for 3.5 or 4 years. I really worked hard there. Uh, l- I accumulate as much experience as possible during my presence there. And also what I did was, if there is some endoscopic sinus surgery course or a hands-on training course, or mainly the temporal bone dissection courses, if anywhere it is there, I used to ask the organizers, I used to beg them, sir, can I come as an instructor so that I can guide the candidates and help you in organizing everything? I'll tell you, I used to go there as an instructor. I used to wash instruments. I used to guide the candidates, help them how to fix the bone, how to do different exercises, how to do this thing. And sometimes, if that particular candidate is not doing well, I used to take over and drill myself and show him this is how to do it. Same thing. Many, many. I think 3 or 4 courses in Manipal. Professor Azarika was very close friend to me. He was in HOD of Manipal. He called me for 4 or 5 courses as a faculty. See, I am only 3 or 4 years post PG. You know, that time they called me as a faculty to the institutions and gave me free accommodation, food, everything. And some places I arranged myself because I used to ask them. I used to volunteer and ask them, sir, I would like to uh, become this thing. Okay. That is how I really worked hard. I wanted to be in whatever I do. I believed this is a professional course. Whatever we do, we should be the best in it. That is the age I started. Okay. And also I started presenting papers in conferences. Post PG, within 1 year, uh, ca- I was presenting papers everywhere. I tell you, in 1998 end, I think there was one workshop. Uh, I think in Ahmedabad, somewhere I don't remember. Dr. Kaluskar was the faculty. Okay, so he was demonstrating surgery, and he had some problem. He was struggling to do demonstrate a procedure. I just commented, sir, can we do this? I will know I was in audience as a participant. Can we do this way? Asked. He said, you are very modest. You seems to be a very learned man. Uh, you have given me a very good idea. I will show you. And he did the way I said, he showed the technique. And then after the case, I think, I want to see you who you are. You come to OT, he said. So I went and met him in OT. And he said, he spoke to me for some time. This next case, why don't you do it? He asked me. I'm a little kind of tired. Why don't you do it? And that was, that gave me a big platform for me to demonstrate. In 1998, 95 December, I passed. Within 3 years, I am demonstrating in a national level workshop as a faculty. So 1998, I demonstrated. After that, there is no looking back. I got many, many offers to give lectures, demonstrate surgeries, and not only endoscopic sinus surgery, otology, airway surgery, and all that. Uh, then what happened during this time, I attended a Dr. Sethi's workshop in endoscopic sinus surgery, cadaver dissection workshop in this thing in Singapore. Okay. No, Dr. Sethi is like, is one of the founding fathers of FIS, I say, great man. And that was a wonderful workshop. I was so much motivated by Dr. Sethi's workshop. After coming back from there, in PGI, we become kind of experts in radiology, most of the residents, mainly because on daily basis, we discuss all the radiological aspects, MRI, CT, whatever is there with the radiologist. And other thing is during my time, our Dr. Suresh Sharma, Professor Suresh Sharma, he, along with other radiology consultant called Raji Popuraj, they arrange a Wednesday combined class, radiology class. That is, all the previous 1 week's important CT scan, MRI, we go and present there and we discuss the findings and what is the management and all that. We used to do that. And that gave me a solid basics in radiology also there. That is how I wrote that first book, Imaging for Endoscopic Sinus Surgery, a handbook. That was the foreword was written by none other than Dr. Milind Kirtane. He wrote a foreword for that, and that book became very popular, and that also put me on a national map. And in 2000, when there was a Millennium Conference at Cochin for the instructional course, I was co-faculty with Dr. Milind Kirtane. Can you imagine this thing on the stage? When I went to the stage, I didn't have voice because this is a new topic. Everybody is interested. Okay, Dr. Milind Keetane, he spoke about ENT, and I'm supposed to speak about radiology. This thing. I did. By the time I had already given my radiologist talk also, and that is a big crowd. That was in a beautiful location. It was in Kochi, and there were huge gathering. I think 300 or 400 people were there, and that everybody appreciated my lecture. By that time, already in 97, 98, Dr. Meghnad had given me wonderful opportunity to talk about radiology, also demonstrate surgery, and also got an opportunity to demonstrate surgery at Dr. KKR's this thing, the endoscopic sinus surgery course. They used to organize wonderful endoscopic sinus surgery course. I don't know why they stopped organizing that. They used to organize that that course. So I've been faculty for all these this thing. That is how that put me on a national map. Okay. So what happened at the end of 4 years? End of the 4 years, uh, I wanted to be in a medical institution, in a teaching post, because that was a purely private hospital. I think when I was earning money, everything, but that teamwork kind of thing was not happening. Like, I had assistants there, but the teamwork was not happening. What to do with the for the teamwork? So I wanted to be in medical institution. So Mata Amrita were starting a medical college in January. Okay. So sorry, in 2000 June they were starting. So that is the time. Uh, then that is the time I think I applied there, and I got a call from this thing Mata Amrita for an interview. So I went and met Professor. Still remember Dr. Prem Nair is a great gastrointestinal gastroenterologist who returned from US. He was a great man. He had a big name in US. He had returned, and he was the director of Mata Amrita. And I met them. I went and met him that time. They were still under building, under construction. They were putting up a lot of equipment, everything installation. He said it will take another 6 months, and he said you're most welcome to come and join the hospital. He had offered. But what happened at the same time, there was a pull from my family to come back to Karnataka. This thing. That is the time in my place, this Chitta, where I'm working, Basaveshwar Medical College. That time, the dean, who was the founder dean, and another this thing, they came in search of me to Kerala. I still remember they came in a bottle green cielo car to call me. They came all the way to my house. I know how they my got contacts, address, everything. I said, "You are son of the soil. You should come back to Chitradurga. We want people like you heading the departments, and you come and join our medical college." This thing. And in June 2000, I was earning an average of 5 lakhs a month, which is huge money now. I left that and I came for 16,000 assistant professor salary in my hometown city, because I wanted to be with the parents and I wanted to serve my place, and I wanted to contribute to our people, and I wanted to be in a medical school and do a teamwork and this thing. But unfortunately, what happened was they went into a lot of financial troubles, the medical college, this thing. Okay. And they could not buy any equipment for me. They could not buy any equipment for me. See, by the time I'm already a well established surgeon with lot of surgical skills, everything, and I've come here and I'm not able to do anything because there are no equipments. So by the time, since I was already a national level faculty, I begged all the various companies to leave their demo instruments, their equipment there, like microscope, endoscope system, everything. And I requested them to do that. Uh, and I started my work somehow, but nothing happened. Then, I asked management, see, like, I can't work like this. One is I'm paid less. Second is I'm not getting any cuts, any surgical amount, because I'm not operating anything because there are no equipments. I can't sustain. I told them I'm quitting. That's the time I got offer from Saint Martha's Hospital in Bangalore, another private hospital. Anyway, I couldn't go back to Kerala because I wanted to be back in Karnataka. I couldn't go back to Kerala, so I shifted to Bangalore for an year. This thing for an year. I was in Saint Martha's Hospital, and Saint Martha's Hospital, they had wonderful facilities, and that gave me an opportunity to do all the major cases, because Saint Martha Hospital is a very economic hospital, almost free kind of thing, and they have a very huge OPD, this thing numbers and cases also, and this thing. Earlier they had given ENT people only 1 or 2 OTs a week, and after joining, looking at the kind of the work I am churning out, they gave me another OT, 3 OTs they had given. Otherwise, ENT was most neglected branch. Okay, that is how I landed up in Matas. I was there for only 1 year. I think, Asha, I think we have taken 1.5 an hour. A wonderful program by Dr. Satish Jain is starting at 11. what I feel is we should take a break with this program today, and we'll come back with the next part of the journey if you provide me an opportunity sometime in future. What?
Definitely, sir. We would like to hear your institution about your institution also. So,
Yes, yes,
as
yes.
you said,
What we'll do is, if possible, next week or whenever you feel like, you
yes,
want me, I will come back and I will speak about it in the subsequent this thing. Okay. Yeah. Thank
thank
you
you,
very
sir.
much for providing this wonderful opportunity. Probably many of our friends want to join Satish John program at 11 o'clock. So I thank all of you again and also Harsha for this wonderful opportunity. We'll see you all again during sometime in the future. Thank